Alright, so the next thing I'm going to work on is the chamber here. So, go ahead and line up some of these edges that I've got here so I can use them. Let's see, I guess that one's already lined up enough. This one here seems kind of unnecessary, so I'm just going to get rid of it. Probably should have done a little of this while it was still mirrored, but that's okay. Okay, now let's see. I'm going to select these two, connect them. I want 2 segments, and then adjust this pinch value and slide value until it's roughly at the top and bottom edge of your ejection port. Now go ahead and connect these vertices to something so that you don't create n-gons all over the place. On this weapon it's not really going to matter all that much because most of it is pretty flat and sharp edges and such, but especially on a weapon if you have a lot of smooth areas, then having n-gons will really make smoothing difficult. So I'm going to extrude that in about that much. That'll do. I don't think I'm going to do this raised area around it. This part of the gun is barely going to be seen, and I don't really want to bother with it. So I'm just going to leave it like this. Let's see. I think I may do that. Just go ahead and target weld these new unnecessary vertices out of the way to somewhere. Okay, there we go. So now I've got that part done, and that's pretty much the only specific detail to this side of the gun. We're going to have to look at our reference images to really see the other side. It really doesn't look like there's that much on this side. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to worry about it. There's not really much else to put on the other side. So, go ahead and create a plane. I'm going to make the trigger. Some people don't bother making the trigger. It doesn't really matter if you do or not. I like to. It doesn't really take that many polys to do it, so. On this one, I'm not going to mirror it. I'm just going to copy the y coordinate and put it in the other side, but with a negative sign, or without a negative sign in this case. I am going to turn off backface, or turn on backface cull. Alright, and then I'm just going to copy these faces, flip them, and give them that same y coordinate. Select all your vertices and weld. It's a little thin, so there we go. Alright, now you can attach that to your gun. Adjust the shape of it if you need to. Alright, and then we need something here. This is the mag release down there. Actually, maybe the first thing to do at this point is we've got this line running the whole way around the thing. It's probably the biggest drawback of using this method, is that now we're going to have to target weld that thing out of the way, because it's just sort of annoying to have it there. And it's going to be on everything. Doing this also helps you to find any errors that you might have in your geometry. So if you notice anything wrong, now is a perfect time to fix it. That ended up a little awkward in there, but it doesn't really matter. Some areas you're going to want to keep the middle edge, like on the handle. So just do something like that. Doesn't really matter how you do it. I'm just going to leave the handle alone because I don't care. While you're doing this, you can also just sort of weld any areas that you think aren't really necessary, just sort of optimize your model a bit. Just as long as you don't get rid of any edges you're gonna need for details in the future. And I ended up with this line sort of left diagonal across here, but it doesn't really matter because technically when you compile it, the whole thing is converted into triangles anyway. So doesn't really make any difference. Alright, same thing on the magazine. Okay, now I'm going to select these two edges and connect them just once. I'm going to slide that over to about there. Then I'm going to select this polygon and extrude it. Slant it a little bit this way too. And there's the mag release. At least a poor representation of it, but it'll work. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and close up the front of the gun here. I'm just going to use the create tool and start filling this in. Okay, now we just need a barrel. So choose cylinder, auto grid. Apply our material, convert to an editable poly, delete that back face. In this case I'm going to delete the front face too for the moment. Now select this ring of edges and choose the scaling tool, hold down shift, scale that out a little bit, drag it forward a little, and scale it back in a little. I'm going to do it that way. Okay, now you can just use the create tool and close that back up. Now I'm going to choose my gun and come on, attach it to that. Okay, and I think that is just about it for the modeling portion. After this we'll work on unwrapping and then texturing it, and then we'll get it in game.